Hello and welcome, and please give us a minute so that we can live stream everywhere and make sure everything is connected. Here we go. Fantastic. Hello and welcome back to Amplify with Purpose, where we talk about everything business, life, management, family, leadership, marketing, especially marketing, and we have our beautiful guest, Dr. Janine de Cabo, back on the show today. Dr. Janine is the CEO of JDC Exec, JDC Marketing, JDC Online. I'm sure there's an online there, as well as a whole host of other businesses that includes branding, marketing, water sourcing. I mean, if you weren't sure, she has a whole host of businesses, and that's not to say that she's not successful, therefore she has multiple businesses. She's just a serial entrepreneur who finds a problem and then finds solutions to it. So on that long-winded note, welcome back, Dr. J. How are you?
Thanks, Odette. No, I'm really well, thank you. It's exactly what you say, is I have a passion for a lot of things. And at the end of the day, they all have to do with businesses and growing people and growing businesses. So yes, I've got a couple running.
Absolutely. So, Dr. J, we are talking today about something that I know you're very passionate about, but something I'm really excited about, and that is cost-effective marketing strategies for small businesses, given the fact that globally there's a bit of a pinch happening and we're all experiencing a bit of a crunch regardless of where you are in the world. So, Janine, tell us, what are some of the innovative marketing strategies that small businesses can implement without breaking the bank?
Well, I would still say that one of the most effective low-cost strategies is using your social media. You've got your platforms like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all of them are really powerful tools to reach and engage with your target audience. So when we are consistent when it comes to our posting, engaging with the content, and then interacting with our followers, then we will see a significant boost in our online presence. So I think that would be a really great start.
So I hear you and I agree. And I have a question that perhaps wasn't part of the list that you would have had beforehand to prepare. But what about the businesses that don't necessarily get interaction with their followers? Because everyone on social media will tell you, you need to engage with your followers. There needs to be engagement. But the reality is sometimes social media can be a little bit like a library where people are cyber sleuthing you and they don't necessarily engage with your content. Now, that's not to say that the content is not relevant. They just don't engage. What do you suggest business owners do in that instance?
Well, that's a good question. I love to say you reap what you sow. So if you are going to engage with other accounts, then those accounts will engage with you and return the favor. So it's not always just about waiting for people to engage with you. It's about you engaging with other people and therefore also growing your network. That would be the best way to do it.
And are you suggesting that they therefore engage with their customer types? Or what about the fact that they engage with funny videos on their profiles, or they find something really cool that's cooking, but it's not necessarily got to do with business? How does that affect their social media performance?
Well, I think what you should do, or what you could look at, is 3 levels. Is you can, and this is for leadership, this is for business, this is for anything, is you always look at people that's higher than you, people at the same level than you, and people lower than you, because that's how you're going to build your communities. And if you do exactly the same thing on social media, well, then you're going to build a healthy community. So yes, it could include your clients, but I won't limit it to that, because at the end of the day, you're building a community, and those people who are like-minded will become your clients as well.
I love that. That's an excellent response. If you guys were wondering, this is not a scripted conversation. So Dr. J's just got to roll with the punches, and you are providing some awesome value. So, Dr. Janine, what is the best way for businesses to engage or get started with social media if they're not au fait with social media? I know a lot of people have become a little bit nervous of social media because there are a bajillion platforms, really. And the question is, should they be on all of them? And if they haven't started yet, how do they get started? Where should they start?
Well, there's two answers to that. Let me start with the first thing. When you get started, I would suggest that you start with a platform that you know your target audience sits on, because there you will get the most engagement, you'll get faster traction. But my other side of the answer is, we're not only thinking, we're obviously with marketing thinking long term. So we're not just thinking social media, we're also thinking SEO. We're also thinking the rest of our marketing strategy. So you can still start and be more active on the one, but then I'm asking you, why not just start on Facebook, just start on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok? Even if you post the same content over all the channels, the one that is your preferred, for example, say for instance, you say Instagram is the best platform for me, that one will automatically draw more attention and grab more people. But on the SEO side, you are now more active on the web, therefore your profile will grow everywhere. So that's how I would do it. If you feel overwhelmed with all of that, then simply start on the platform that you prefer the most and focus on that, and then move over to the other platforms that will in turn help your SEO and your overall brand. If you like, what, it just makes sense to me to start on all of them, but focus on the one that I want to focus on, and my SEO is growing in the meantime, then great, go for that. It's exactly what you said. There's so many things, but people don't explain why they are doing it. And there's such great tools available. In one of our companies, we do a course, Canva Brilliance, on Learn Social Media, and we're literally teaching people how to use Canva to its full potential in order to do your social marketing or your social media post and your marketing post for you. That is helping people. We have to just, and for a lack of a better word, and not dumbing down anything in marketing, we have to dumb down all the voices and all the things, so it become bite-sized chunks for us in order to manage this, because it's a big thing to manage, Odette. I mean, yourself, it's a full-time job, and you can't be running a business doing all those things. So we have to find means and ways around it. And we've got brilliant tools, exactly, and Canva is one of those.
Now, you touched on a really interesting subject, which is use your content and then use it everywhere so that you build social SEO relevance. Now, TikTok is a touchy subject and is very well known as the platform where people sing and dance and do really strange things. And what if you're just not a dancer? What do I do to create content that stands out, but don't have to have me dancing half naked to a really silly song in my kitchen?
Well, I'm so glad, because I'm one of those people that's not going to dance, and my team knows that as well. And I'm not going to sing either. But you can even do still posts right now, and they're also doing really well. So you don't have to. Again, you can just the platforms understand people. So they understand not everybody is going to do it. I mean, if you think back on Instagram, which is my favorite, that's just why I speak about it a lot, is with Instagram, we started with still posts, we moved it over to carousels, and now we have also reels like all the others. So they understand. All of them adapt either way at the end of the day. But the one thing I can tell you that, and I kick myself, I will not ever again, because I won't make this mistake again. If there's a new platform, you get onto it and you roll with the punches. You just do what needs to be done, because at the end of the day, most people will move over to that platform, and then you are already there. To get started later on is just so much harder. The one that I think that didn't take off as much as it should have was Threads, but I don't know, mine is just growing. It is just growing. I'm not doing much to it, but it's growing. So again, am I going to not go on there because people are saying it's not that effective? I don't know. I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking SEO. I'm thinking World Wide Web, being everywhere. So for me, if there's a new platform, get onto it and just use it.
And what about creating content that stands out? How does business owners identify the right kind of content for their business that's not the same humdrum, here's a static post, the same as everyone else's?
Yeah, I think you have to be creative here. And this is where you can bring your own punch. This is where you can really make your brand and your identity stand out. I love user generated content as an example, where either your customers can share reviews of your products, they can, and we can repost them. They share something from their side. I love user generated content because it's unique and it's real and it's authentic, right? And then behind the scenes content, people are still very nosy and they want to know what's happening behind the scenes. They want to know what you're doing. So if you show them, you let them in, they're all automatically also, you're building relationship, you're building bonds. So behind the scenes content is important. Let them see how you do it. Before we started, I actually took a photo just of the little set I've got in front of me. And I'm like, I need to share this. I need to show people this is what I'm busy with. You're letting them in. And that in turn helps as well. I love tutorials. I love how-tos because it shows of your expertise. So many people are afraid of that. They're scared that I'm giving away my IP, I'm giving away all my stuff. No, you don't. You've got so much more inside of you. You're giving them one thing to show them your expertise. You're showing them that you know what you're talking about. So tutorials and how-tos for me is very important because that's also what's going to show people, hey, this is the guy I want to deal with. I like what they're saying. So tutorials, how to think of behind the scenes, think of user generated content, and then they're doing what you're doing now. It's live streaming or live videos. That would be great to do because in that way people can connect with you. They can be online. They're literally part of the conversation as we go, and they can ask questions. They can tap into the knowledge that is there at the moment. So yes, do the posts, do the carousels, do the reels, but go out of your way and do some of the stuff that we don't see every single day.
Absolutely. I think to add to the power of going live is the fact that people get to know you.
Yeah.
They get to hear your voice, your tone of voice, your personality, and you don't necessarily always get that through a post. You can read a book and say, I think this is what the author sounds like, but you only know what the author sounds like when they speak. And when they speak and then you read the book again, you read the book in a different way. And it's the same with social media, I think. When we go live, people have an opportunity to see the fact that Odette is fidgety because she can't sit still. It is what it is. And she talks with her hands. But that makes me animated, right? So now I'm not just this stern person that's sitting there with a collared shirt. I'm someone who's animated. I'm a human being. And it breaks down those barriers, which we've talked about in previous shows. The fact that there are barriers between people and businesses, and people buy from people, and they simply won't buy from you when there is a barrier or a perceived barrier because they're not sure if you're approachable, and this makes you more approachable. So definitely live stream, as scary as it sounds, is a really good way of connecting with your audience, I believe. Dr. Janine, tell us a little bit about email marketing.
Oh, I love email marketing. I used to be so against it. Before I get there, I just wanted to say something about your previous point is we focus so much on B2C, B2B, but what about P2P, which is people to people? People buy from people, exactly to your point. And one of the curriculums I'm busy doing is I wrote one called Marketing Cosmetics. And in that, I speak about your brand voice. And a brand voice is exactly how does your company sound? Live stream gives us that opportunity to actually hear the personality of the company. What is the brand voice? Odette, if you phone me and I pick up the phone, I'm like, hi, Odette, I know it's you. You don't have to tell me. And with live streaming, with reels and those type of content where people can actually hear you, just think about it. They literally getting to know your voice, and you become a person when you start to speak, they're like, oh, hi, Dr. Janine, hi, Odette, they know you. Yes. So it really gives us that opportunity to connect again, P2P, people to people, and it gives us that opportunity to establish the brand and the brand voice as well. Back to email marketing, one of my utmost favorite things, right? Like I said, I didn't believe in email marketing. I thought, by the way, that email marketing is dead and we're not going to use it. But in fact, email marketing has brought in for us as well the most conversions and the most sales compared to social media. And I think you've experienced the same thing. look, I am a forerunner with social media. I love it and it's the way it should be, but everything has got its place and everything has got its purpose. And if you can figure out what each place and purpose is of the various marketing tools available for your business, then you're going to thrive. There is no one recipe for everybody. And I think we've all figured that out by now, because you've tried everything that that person said, and you've also tried everything that that person said, and then there's a breakthrough and you're like, oh, okay, this is how I should do it. And then it works once, So for me, email marketing has been that thing that's been constant, and it's been a constant win. So for me, I love email marketing. The program that we use, and you use it as well, Odette, the Substack. I mean, it's just revolutionary. I love the fact that you can do emails from your emails, obviously, but you can do video, you can do audio, you can do podcasts. There's so much that you can do from one platform. It even got, I want to say, instant messaging. It's also got the platform that you can post it like it's a social media post. So they were so clever. They brought everything, all the social media, all the Instagrams, all the YouTubes. They brought it, MailChimps and all those guys, they brought it into one platform. And that's Substack for you. I love it. You're building communities, which is now aimed towards Web3, where we're going to in the future. I think we're already there. People just don't know what to call it, honestly, because if you think about it, we're building communities, we're automating stuff, we're doing everything of Web3. We just haven't said, oh, okay, this is what you call it. So we're already in it. Substack is a great example of that. So as a company, you need to get to build your list, build that list, grab your customers and put it in one place and start talking to them. And I think it's also important to then take who you've got and segment your audience to make sure, based on the different buyer personas, we speak about that, the different client types. So who am I talking to? Am I not talking to business owners? Am I talking to the housewives, which is very powerful because they manage not only the checkbook, but everything else? Who am I talking to? Who's the decision makers? Segment your audience into the I want to say categories where people are making the decisions to actually purchase, because you can affect that purchase decision. And obviously then the same thing as with any other platform is you have to craft the content, create the content, and then automate it wherever possible.
It's so powerful. Email marketing, I agree, is a really powerful and easy to use tool. Substack has revolutionized email marketing in that it enables you to do all of these things. And Substack, by the way, is a free tool, whereas all the other automated email CRMs are paid for. It's a pay to play, whereas Substack is not necessarily a pay to play if you're a business owner using Substack. What I like about email marketing in this particular instance is the fact that it enables us to create communities. Yes, you could do that on other CRM systems, but those CRM systems sit outside of all the other things that you do. And again, if we're talking about person-to-person connection, Substack enables you to send a video, to make your podcast live, to send notes, and we are now suddenly connecting with people in one place, the different ways that they would choose to connect on Instagram or on Facebook or on LinkedIn. So it's extremely powerful. And it also creates a sense of affinity. Affinity is super important when it comes to building a business, when it comes to building a community. The minute there's affinity, people like you already, because it's the know, like, and trust factor. And if there's affinity, they feel like they know you, so therefore they like you. What do I mean by affinity? Affinity is when you, for example, when you use Substack and you're a subscriber, it says you are also subscribed to Dr. Janine Cabo, you subscribe to Learn Social Media, because you subscribe to these different posts or businesses, I suppose, there's an affinity. So the minute someone else sees that you're connected to that business, there's an affinity with that business. The cool thing is, something that I'm super passionate about is creating ecosystems. And that's what the Business with Altitude Summit is about. It's creating that ecosystem where it's now no longer one business that solely benefits from everything else. It's the ecosystem that sits around it. And suddenly your clients and your list sees the other stuff and they connect with those businesses. And now we're creating a net for people to fall into safely, and to grow, because the ecosystem enables them to grow. It's got everything they need. It's like-minded people. It's like-valued people. And there's so much power in that when we start bringing those things together. So, Dr. Janine, let's talk a little bit about local marketing. We've spoken a lot about digital marketing and email marketing. How can small businesses effectively use marketing in their local community?
That's such a great question, and I've become so passionate about what's happening, which is globalization. Globalization is slowing down. Therefore, the focus is more on the local communities, and we have an opportunity to engage with them once more to like increase our market share. Now, the thing we need to look at is local SEO. So take your SEO campaign and check what fits to local. Optimize your website with online listings, obviously, to ensure that your business is listed on Google My Business and other local directories. You know, we've got so many groups, even on Facebook, that is just for your local community. Like, become part of them, interact. Again, what you reap is what you'll sow. Be part of that community so that people can become part of your community. Be part of community events. I know you're doing that all the time, and collaborate with local influencers. And then I know people are like, but what is like flyers and posters? Yeah, still go for that, because I always say that you have to have traditional marketing, you have to have digital marketing, you have to have Web3 marketing. Each one of them serves a different purpose. Flyers and posters or traditional marketing creates awareness, where digital marketing enhances the reaction. So people find they can just react and they can respond now. And then Web3 builds the communities and automates. So yes, be part of local listings, update your SEO, be part of community events, and then tap back into, because a lot of people left traditional marketing out completely, tap back in traditional marketing, print flyers, print brochures, print cards, and get the word out in your local community.
I think what people are missing is the fact that local and traditional marketing is powerful because there's so many people that have exited using it.
Yes.
Because everyone stopped sending stuff in the mail. Now when you get something in the mail, you're like, oh, this is interesting. It's no longer filled with like 100 million hate mail and spam, and there's like this one flyer. Because you get one flyer, you read the one flyer and you're like, oh, I didn't know there's a local detailing business in my street. I'm going to use them the next time I need my car detailed. So there's so much power in just when everyone zigs, you zag. So this is where the zigzag comes from. If everyone has exited traditional marketing because they believed it was dead, because everything was online, yes, for a time everyone moved online. However, traditional marketing still has its place, like Dr. Janine said, and it's still powerful. And the reason it's more powerful now is because there's just not any noise there. So if you're not already doing traditional marketing and you're not connecting with your local community, I want to encourage you to get back in there, because you will be the only person swimming in a blue ocean, because everyone else is fighting the online social media marketing space, and you get to speak to your customers and they don't have any noise in their space. I think it's a brilliant idea, and I honestly believe it's effective because now you have their full attention. So Dr. Janine, these strategies are incredibly valuable for small business owners. Before we wrap up, do you have any final advice for our listeners on marketing, branding, social media, how to grow their business?
I think if I can leave 2 key words with you today, it would be to stay consistent and adaptable. Marketing is an ongoing process. It's very important for you to review your strategies as you go, because it's always changing. You have to keep an eye on your analytics, because if you make data-driven choices and decisions, you're going to understand how it's working better and your result will be just so much better. I was one of those people that always didn't want to look at the data because I was just going with this passionate on fire, but I realized that I have to make data-driven choices and decisions. So stay consistent, be adaptable. Marketing is an ongoing process. You're not going to stop with this campaign. You're neither going to stop with the next campaign. It might only be campaign 15 that works. And that's why I say, don't stop. It's an ongoing process. Be consistent with what you do and be adaptable at the end of the day.
Absolutely. So powerful. So, Dr. Janine, we have a summit coming up in September. Do you want to share with our viewers a little bit about the summit?
I can't wait for the summit. Last year's summit was such a great success, and this year will be nothing other than that. So we're going to have myself, Dr. Janine, Odette, and Christo, the expander, we're going to have on the summit for the 3 days. So if you're a small to medium-sized business, welcome, and just grab your tickets. Odette will probably put the links into the notes and into the chats. There we go, so that you can register. We've also got a free webinar coming up that you can also register for to come and see, because maybe you're curious and you're like, what are these people even going to talk about? Well, come and see, join our live webinar, and we'll also give you the lineup of the day. We'll share with you in the webinar. It's not just to tell you about the summit, it's to actually give you tips and things that you can take away and apply in your business. In that webinar, you will put that down, you will be able to start applying. That's the point. Our point and our vision is always to amplify with purpose, exactly like it says, grow businesses, grow the people who runs the businesses. So even with the free webinar, you're going to be gaining so much insight, gaining so much nuggets to run your business. And then, come and join us at the summit. It's really going to change the direction of your business.
Absolutely. So, like Dr. Janine said, join us at the free webinar to come find out what this summit is about and what you'll be learning. They share some really interesting things that you have to know to survive in this tumultuous time. And then, of course, there is always a really cool offer for those people who did join the webinar, because why not? We like to be generous. And then for today, we had a very quick conversation, and it really has been really quick, about cost-effective marketing strategies. And I think for me, the biggest takeaway from the conversation with Dr. Janine has been to be everywhere and to pick one, but be consistent. I think if nothing else, consistency is the one thing that's going to get you from where you are to where you want to be, even on the days that you don't feel like it. Even if your stats say, no, it's not working, you tweak and you test, but you stay consistent. You show up and you do the scary thing. So I want to invite you to go and do that one scary thing out of all the things that Dr. Janine has listed today. And let us know in the comments, how did it go? Did you go live? What was the result? I promise you it's not as bad as you think it is. Did you send out a flyer to your local neighborhood? And did you get a sale? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care.